what you want. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is the person over there okay? We had someone had a little girl, a little issue. Well, I've got, let's say, I got a little 4-year-old, and that's a large part of the reason why I'm standing here today. I didn't plan to get back into politics, but I decided that you know, rather than reading somebody else's lines that they put in a script somewhere, or somebody else's speeches, or maybe even making a little extra money, that I needed to step up to the plate again. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm here today for the same reasons you all are. And that's what this is all about. But let's tell you one thing. First of all, thank you for being who you obviously are to produce a young man like that. And thank him for what he's doing. I can tell you one thing. I'll only make one promise in this whole thing I think I can live up to. And that is, I would go to bed every night and get up every morning as President of the United States, making sure that the sacrifices that he and his family and people just like him across this country, that those sacrifices will not go in vain in the United States of America. So, walked into the rehabilitation section of things, and there was a young man in there, and had a smile on his face. He was working with the people who were working with him. He was trying out his new legs. He was a double amputee, and I went over and talked to him a little bit. And very fluent young man, and I said at the end of our conversation, you know, hope it's obvious that this is the United States of America. You can do anything you want to do. What are your plans? And he said, well, I was talking to this non-profit organization that's doing a lot of good. He said, I think I'll hook up with them. Then he looked at me and he said, I think it's time I gave something back. Doesn't it make you proud to know that we are a country that produces young people like that in this country? I'll say that what he is saying represents the first principles that I was talking about. That a government is strong enough to protect us, limited by the delegated powers in the Constitution, and competent enough to get the job done and do what the federal government is supposed to be doing in some very significant ways. And oftentimes we don't have that because people lose sight of what government is supposed to be all about and the relationship between state and local government and the common sense values that he's talking about in the application of things. It just has to do with what's going to make this a stronger country. What's going to make this a weaker, more divided country? I mean, what is the truth? What are the principles? I had 2 or 3 99-to-1 votes when I was in the Senate. I was the only one. And it goes kind of to this lady's question here, too. It had to do with the idea that they were trying to federalize things that were do-good kinds of things. One was a Good Samaritan law. Who can be against a Good Samaritan law? You know, my staff panicked. You know, what's going to happen? You know, you were the only one to vote against this thing. I said, why should something that's been under the state of purviews and local government for 200 years, why should we federalize that when we can't do the things we're supposed to be doing? Why bring that to the national level and have a national resolution to this that deprives the states to do the common sense things that they're supposed to do? And if they don't, you can drive. You don't have to fly to Washington. You can drive a little ways and get to the state capitol and take care of business. That's the way our country was set up. I've often wondered why people thought, even conservatives sometimes, even the Republicans with regard to those folks, why people thought it was a good idea, whether it comes to our school system, whether it comes to reforming our courts, or things of that nature, to get in your car, drive past the courthouse, drive sometimes past the state capitol, drive on out to the airport, get on an airplane, fly to Washington, D.C. and say, you ought to take care of this problem in my backyard here because you members of Congress do such a great job at it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think that's what they're both talking about.